2:11 a.m., the office system showed a new login. The problem was, I was the only person in the building. I worked night IT support at a small office building in Seattle in 2024. Nothing fancy. Just me, a desk, and a system that monitored employee logins and server activity. At night, the entire building was empty. Lights off. Floors locked. Only the IT room stayed active. My job was simple. Watch the system. Log activity. That's it. For the first week. Nothing unusual happened. Until one night. At exactly 2:11 a.m., a notification popped up. User logged in, floor 3. I frowned. Because floor 3 was locked. No one had access after midnight. I checked the name. It wasn't blank. It showed my username. My chest tightened. Because I was already logged in. From the IT room. There was no way I could be logged in. In two places at once. I checked the cameras. Floor 3 hallway. Empty. No movement. No lights. Just darkness. I told myself it was a system glitch. Old software. Lag. That made sense. At least, it felt like it did. Then another notification appeared. File accessed. Security logs. That wasn't normal. Only I had access to those files. And I hadn't opened them. I clicked the activity log. The cursor moved. On its own. Scrolling. Opening files. I pulled my hand away from the mouse. I wasn't touching anything. But the system was still moving. Like someone else was controlling it. Then the screen froze, and a message appeared. You're not alone. I stood up immediately, heart racing. I grabbed the radio. Security check, anyone on floor 3? No response. Just static. Then I heard something, a sound, coming from the hallway outside the IT room. Footsteps, slow, deliberate. I turned toward the door. The handle moved slightly, then stopped. I didn't breathe, didn't move. The footsteps continued, passing the door, heading toward the stairs. I rushed back to the monitor, pulled up the cameras again. Floor 3, and that's when I saw it. A figure, standing in the hallway, right where the login had appeared. Same height, same build, same clothes. Me, but something was wrong. It wasn't moving naturally. It was delayed, like it was copying me. A second too late. I raised my hand slowly. On the screen, it did the same, but slower. Then it stopped copying and smiled. That's when I ran. I didn't grab anything, didn't shut the system down. I just left. The next morning, I got a call from the company. They asked why I accessed the security logs at 2:11 a.m. I told them I didn't. There was a pause. Then they said something I still can't explain. We have footage of you on floor 3 at the exact same time, and I never went back because I still don't know which one of us logged out that night. At 3:21 a.m., a patient in bed 7 called my name. The problem was, bed 7 was empty. I started working as a night nurse assistant at a small hospital just outside Tulsa, Oklahoma in 2024. It wasn't a big place, just one main ward, a few private rooms and a short-staffed night shift. Most nights were quiet, too quiet. On my second week, one of the senior nurses, Claire, pulled me aside before my shift. She said something that stuck with me. If you hear anything from bed 7 after 3 a.m., don't respond. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. That night felt normal at first. Patients asleep. Monitor steady. Lights dimmed. Bed 7 was in the corner of the ward. Curtain half closed. Empty. The patient who had been there was discharged earlier that day, so it should have stayed empty. Around 2:50 a.m., I walked past it during rounds. Nothing unusual. Just an empty bed. At exactly 3:21 a.m., I heard it. A voice. Soft. Weak. Hey. I froze. 'cause it came from bed 7. I turned slowly. The curtain hadn't moved. The bed was still empty. Then again, a little louder this time. Ryan. My chest tightened. Because it said my name. I stepped closer. I don't know why. I should have walked away, but I didn't. I reached out and slowly pulled the curtain open. The bed was empty, but the sheet was slightly indented, like someone was sitting there. My hands started shaking. Then the monitor next to the bed flickered on. Flatline. No patient. No connection. And yet, it beeped once. I stepped back immediately. And that's when I heard breathing. Close. Too close. Right next to me. I turned my head slightly, but I didn't see anything. Then the voice came again, right beside my ear. Why didn't you answer? I ran, didn't stop, didn't look back. I went straight to the nurse station. Claire was already there, looking at me, like she knew. You heard it, didn't you? I nodded. She sighed, then said something I'll never forget. It starts with your name. I felt my stomach drop. What do you mean? She looked back toward the ward. After that, it follows you. I didn't go near bed 7 again that night. But at exactly 3:33 a.m., the call button at bed 7 lit up. Over and over. No one there. Just flashing, requesting assistance. Claire turned it off. Didn't say anything. The rest of the shift, we stayed at the desk. Didn't respond to any calls from that corner. I quit 2 days later. Didn't give a reason. Didn't ask questions. But a week later, I got a message from Claire. Just one line. They moved it. I didn't understand at first. So I called her. She answered and whispered, bed 7 is now bed 3. And sometimes, late at night, I still hear it. Soft. Close. Saying my name. At 2:58 a.m., I got a call from room 6. The problem was, no one had checked into that room. I took a night job at a small roadside motel outside Flagstaff, Arizona in 2024. Nothing fancy. Just 10 rooms, a front desk, and a parking lot that stayed mostly empty after midnight. Most nights were quiet. Too quiet. On my first shift, the owner told me one thing before leaving. If room 6 calls, don't pick up. I laughed. Thought it was some kind of joke. It wasn't. The first few hours were normal. A couple late check-ins, one car passing by, then nothing. At exactly 2:58 a.m., the desk phone rang. Sharp. Sudden. I looked at the caller ID, room 6. I frowned, because that room was empty. I had checked the keys myself. No one had taken it. The phone kept ringing. I should have ignored it, but I didn't. I picked it up. Front desk. Silence. Then, breathing. Slow. Uneven. I straightened up. Hello? And then, a voice. Weak. Dry. Why did you give me this room? My grip tightened. I didn't, I said. The line went quiet. Then, come see. The call ended. I stared at the phone for a few seconds, then slowly looked toward the parking lot. Room 6 was at the far end. The light outside it was on. I don't remember turning it on. I grabbed the master key. I should have stayed inside. I know that now. But I didn't. I walked across the lot. The air felt colder than before. No cars. No sound. Just that one light. Over room 6. I stopped outside the door. The curtain inside was slightly open, and I could see movement. Not clearly, just something shifting inside. My chest tightened. Because the room was supposed to be empty, I unlocked the door. It opened slowly. The room looked normal. Bed made. Lights off. TV off. But the bathroom door was open, and the light inside was on. I stepped in. Then I heard it. From the bathroom. A voice. You're late. I froze. Because I was alone. I know I was alone. The shower curtain moved. Just slightly. Like someone standing behind it. Breathing. I didn't check. I turned and ran. Didn't lock the room. Didn't look back. I went straight to the office. Locked the door. At exactly 3:12 a.m., The phone rang again. Room 6. I didn't answer. It kept ringing, then stopped. And a few seconds later, there was a knock. On the office door, 3 times. Slow. Heavy. Then a voice. Right outside. You checked me in. I didn't move. Didn't breathe.